This week, we are joined by Joov, and we are continuing our coverage of summer gaming news. We're talking Microsoft, Nintendo, Future Game Show, and the PC Gamer Show.
Gaming Show.
All of that and more in this week's episode of the podcast. Roll the intro.
Oh my god.
Hello and welcome to Next to Nothing, a podcast for gamers on a budget. I'm not even going to mention it. I am your host, Danny K. With me, as always, the wonderful, the beautiful, the Mr. Green Elite. Green, how are you doing today?
The normal would be for me to say there's nothing to complain about, so we're gonna go for that. Nothing to complain about.
Ooh. All right. I appreciate the enthusiasm in that statement. We're also joined by the spooky and the weekly Mendacii. How are you doing today?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I feel you. We're also joined once again for the second time, our resident Elder Scrolls and Fallout expert.
Oh,
Joov.
stop.
Oh, let me
Expert.
Yes. I think you are one of the people who I think truly understands these games at a fundamental level in terms of like story and location, and you can just bend those games to your will.
I'm just an idiot who likes to have fun.
Joov, for the kind folks out there who have yet the opportunity to meet you, who are you, what do you do, and where can people find you?
Shit, I wasn't ready for this one. Okay, I need to call back on my... Oh, I'm hitting my green screen. I need to call back on my previous business interview experience. It's like the tell me about yourself question, but I can go through my college education and stuff like that and the lies there, but not so much gaming. Okay, so I'm Joov, and I play Bethesda games basically in really goofy, dumb ways. We like to do challenges and stuff like that, and I make YouTube videos. So yeah, that's where I'm mostly at, is on YouTube. Joov, 4 letters, 1 syllable, nice and easy. One sec. I gotta go close my door. I left it wide open. I have a roommate now. I don't think about these things.
It's just fine. It's just fine. Everyone, thanks for watching and listening to the show. Be sure to stick around. We don't have deals of the week this week, but we do have some awesome deals for you. And if you want to hear more about gaming deals, make sure you hit, subscribe so you never miss that if you're on YouTube. Of course, if you do miss any part of the show, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and everywhere podcasts are found. You can typically find us live on Twitch every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time. We're starting to stream a little bit less, and we might be changing platforms. Who knows? Make sure you follow us on YouTube, though. That's the best way to get all of your Next to Nothing goodness. And we have a Dungeons and Dragons actual play show on there as well. But I think we should just jump right in to our summer gaming news, right? This is part 2. If you want to check out last week our thought, we discussed Devolver Digital, Guerrilla Collective, and the Summer Game Show, and WWDC. So go check that out if you want to hear all about that. This week, we're going to talk all about Microsoft and Bethesda, specifically the Starfield showcase that they did, or Starfield Direct, I don't remember what they called it, the PC Gamer Show, Future Game Show, and Nintendo's most recent Direct. Let's start with a bang, Microsoft and Bethesda. I actually didn't get an opportunity to watch the show itself. Joov, did you?
I did. It's kind of funny. I was in the middle of finishing up my move in the place where I'm at now, since I moved to Minnesota, and the Microsoft show ended a lot quicker than I thought it would. And I was actually telling myself that day, no, I'm not going to watch the Starfield showcase. I'm going to wait until my whole setup is up, and then we'll do a stream and we'll, react to it live. But then the show ended earlier than I thought, and it just started rolling into the next section, all that stuff. And then I was like, oh shit, okay, never mind. I should probably watch it. And I watched very nervously. I didn't really know what to expect. And it was a pretty good show. They did a pretty good job. There was quite a lot of things, even the whole Microsoft show. I think Avowed looks pretty cool. I think is it it's not Black Isle Studio. Those are the people that made the original Fallout. It's who's
Obsidian.
making Clockwork Revolution.
Oh,
Yeah.
Obsidian is doing about Clockwork Revolution is the other one. Let me look up who is making that one again.
Yeah, both looked really, really nice, honestly. Kind of like a turn back to the roots, but also with a nice modern spin on it to give it a little bit more flavor.
In Exile.
There you
Exile. That's who it is. And they made Wasteland 3, which I really enjoyed. I want to say In Exile also does have some of the original Fallout developers on there. Brian Fargo, I think, is the lead of that studio.
yeah.
I believe he worked. Yeah, he was with Interplay.
Yeah. So in terms of like the trailers and stuff like that, like what was there anything else that caught your eye? For me, Avowed caught my eye, and then Payday 3. I think they just got a new trailer and showed off a little gameplay, but that caught my eye. But was there anything else that like specifically during the Microsoft show that like, tickled your fancy, tickled your testicles?
Have you guys played Payday? I've never played it.
I played Payday 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use the music in my videos a lot, and I really love all the music, but I've never actually played the games.
It's fine.
I assume people like them.
Bad. They're definitely for like a specific kind of person. Like if you prefer team-based, like horde mode kind of shooters, it's a little bit more. It's not like super competitive.
I do love Deep Rock Galactic, so I would probably
Yeah.
like Payday. Rock
Yeah.
and Stone.
Yeah. But any of the other trailers that caught your attention, Joov?
Did they show anything on Hellblade 2?
Yes.
Anyone?
This is the one. This game is actually starting to piss me off because first off, I don't care about Hellblade, and if you love Hellblade, that's awesome. All the power to you. If you're a fan of Hellblade, I've never met anybody who's like, dude, you ever played Hellblade? and for like 4 years now, every time Microsoft has a show, they're like, oh, you guys are not ready. Like every time Jeff Keighley gets on stage, you guys are not ready for what Microsoft has in store with this one. And then it'll be a 4 minute long, way too long. I'm probably talking out of my ass here. I totally am. That's 90% of what I do. But it'll be a super long, like cinematic, no gameplay, whatever, like the power of the Xbox series. That game's going to run at 30 frames, by the way. I'm calling it now. Hellblade 2.
Also, you're actually spot on and not talking out of your ass, Joov. It was 4 minutes and 17 seconds. I literally was just like, oh,
Wait,
yeah,
was it really that long?
Yeah, it was straight up and it's a 4 minute like CGI movie a la Final Fantasy cinematic. Like, yeah.
I mean, if I cared about the characters, or if I had really played, the original, but like they're like hyping this thing up, and they've been hyping it up for 3 or 4 years now. This is like its fourth appearance at the showcase. I've had more feeling seeing 2 seconds of Fable than I've ever had looking at Hellblade, and I'm sure it'll be cool. And I'm sure the first one is actually really, really good, but it just feels like this weird, like they're holding it up. Like, remember how cool Master Chief was? Like, this is our new
you see him throw down the bubble shield, and the juxtaposition of Senua just screaming like a mad person as weird zombie hands touch her legs. Like,
I think it'll be cool, but it's this weird, like Microsoft keeps showing it off, like, oh, you'll never believe what we got in store, and it doesn't really land. Maybe it'll be great.
right.
And I'll eat crow. And I don't want to be too harsh because, you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been hyping it up for a while. The first one got really rave reviews. I think it was a bit of an underdog
Sleeper?
for them. Yeah, a little bit of a sleeper
Yeah.
for them. So they're really trying to ride that cash cow. Mr.
Maybe
Green,
they're just selling the first one via trailers for the second one.
they might be. I wouldn't put it past them. Green, was there anything with Microsoft that caught your eye or attention that you wanted to mention?
I mean, not really. I mean, the Fable looked pretty fun. I don't know if that's going to be like an actual like accurate depiction of what the game's going to look like.
Yeah.
I saw the Starfield thing. Everyone's going nuts for Starfield. I personally am not overly excited for it, but I mean, some people are super hyped. I mean, I'm not huge into like. I've never been like a huge like Microsoft and now subsequently Bethesda like fanboy. And I'm one of the people that like I don't like Skyrim or like Fallout or anything like that.
How dare
I
you.
said it. I said it. I said it.
You're
Post them in the
Somebody
comments.
Really,
You are perfectly
Yeah.
valid.
absolutely roast me in the comments. The only thing that like seemed like pretty like crazy to me was that what's it called? The trailer was like a deer was eating. It was
Eating
like
a
a
what?
fucked up zombie. It was like a fucked up zombie deer was like eating a wolf.
Oh,
It was a like a horror. I think it was like, and I can't remember the name of it now, and I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, I don't remember. I
Was there
don't
like
remember that
a
one.
skeleton guy with like a guitar or something?
that's south of midnight.
It
That's
started with
different.
it was a lady. It was a lady like working on like some like a bow and arrows, or like she was like twirling some arrows.
Huh.
And
Oh,
then like she
man.
like screamed at a wolf because a wolf was like outside of her camp. And then like the next day she like sets out into the snowy wilderness and she sees the wolf laying on the ground. A fucking like an antlered deer was like eating the wolf.
What?
It's a
Why don't I
sequel
remember
Did
to
you watch the same
something.
showcase? Maybe this.
I'm pretty sure it was part of the showcase.
No, I probably missed it. 33 Immortals. Does that ring a bell?
No.
I'm currently
Yeah,
looking.
because that one's kind of like cartoony and like a top-down
I
roguelike kind of deal there.
Was it Microsoft Flight
Um,
Simulator Dune expansion?
Yeah,
Is that
it
the
was
one?
one. Definitely.
It had to have been.
It'd be funny if you were talking about Senua. It'd be really.
I was
it'd
gonna
be
say.
really fucking funny.
Meanwhile, actually, Senua's sacrifice, or sorry,
Senua Saga. Sacrifice is the first one.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't know what you saw, Green. I have no idea.
I don't know either.
It wasn't
Shinichi
Avowed.
Gami, Path of the Goddess.
No, that one's like a hack and slash character action game.
Anyways, if you guys know what's down in the comments,
It's something. It's something. It might not even have been during that showcase. I'm just like, my brain's just making it up.
are you sure? Yeah, it sounds like you had a fever dream.
Yeah. What else? Avowed looked pretty decent too.
Yeah. I'm surprised you say Avowed looks pretty decent when that is like Obsidian's answer to Skyrim and Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, but it just doesn't have that same allure, you know.
Well, so we've mentioned it a couple times. Let's talk specifically about Starfield, because I think that's probably Bethesda's. I mean, that is Bethesda's next big IP. They've been working on this for a while. It's got a lot of hype and probably concern around it. A couple of things they showed off in the direct was the character creation, which for most people that is one of the most important things of any of the Bethesda RPGs.
Beards.
Yeah, you got to make
Beards.
sure.
I hated the beards. I loved everything else about like their character creation, but the fucking beards.
Beards
Never
do look
good.
weird. They showed off some of the skills or how they work, space travel, combat, companions, and more. Joov, since this is really like stuff in your bread and butter, like tell us your emotions about it.
I think if people who have concerns are certainly valid to have concerns. People who aren't hyped about it, you know, that's cool. Like if people don't like Bethesda games, that's completely fine. And some people have liked them for all sorts of different reasons. Like in the actual sort of Bethesda games fan base, you have a lot of people who like fell in love with the writing and lore of some of the older ones, and writing isn't necessarily one of their strengths. So they like.
Did we lose him?
No,
Did you lose me?
Nope, I got you.
I was gonna say you got dropped off the call on my end.
Oh well, that wouldn't be surprising, given everything else that's going on. But there's a lot of people who kind of love these games and their universes for all sorts of different reasons. But the main reason that I really, really enjoy them is just for like the immersive sandbox of how the games work. And there were a lot of things that I saw in the showcase that expand on like build diversity and just the overall sandbox and the different ways that different players will be able to engage with the world. Where in Skyrim and Fallout 4, one of the biggest issues I have with them is how homogenous playthroughs can become. I guess a lot of what I do for my channel and the videos and challenges we do is trying to come up with really stupid ways of playing them, because there's the ongoing joke with Skyrim that like everybody eventually ends up becoming a stealth archer, or everybody does, a certain style of playthrough. And those games do have build diversity. Like they're all very similar in terms of the skills that you choose to invest in early usually are the ones that you are much more powerful in towards the end game, and then you're facing higher level enemies, so the ones you haven't put time into are going to be weaker. But with Starfield, which is really, really cool and what I like, and I hope totally lands, is how they have the skill point system set up where you level up and you get a skill point. And then you spend that skill point on a perk, and they're divided into, I think, 6 different trees. And so the way that you take that perk from level 1 all the way to level 4 is by completing specific challenges that relate to that perk. And I think that that's a lot cooler than what we've seen in their last 2 large releases. I'm not going to count Fallout 76, apologies, but I'm just not. Fallout 4 and Skyrim, where we still have to play it, right? But at the start of the game, you could theoretically take a perk point in they showed off one that actually looked like it was VATS from Fallout, but it was during space flight and during space combat. Where what if at the start of the game you just solely focused on maxing that out? Now you haven't spent any skill points in like combat or social or tech or craft, whatever the other skill trees are. And I think that just opens up a lot of new kind of like water cooler discussion. Like, oh, I decided to go with like these skills when I first started the game, and I'm 15 hours in and I have this skill and this one, but I got this one maxed out right away. That was the first one I went for. I think that that's really, really cool. And I like that a lot more than in Fallout 4, where certain perks you could pick, but you couldn't rank up that perk unless your character was a specific level. So you'd be locked off from some of the more really powerful ones until later in the game. So I hope that there's not that many guardrails around that. That would be a bit disappointing. And I thought that the weapon diversity looked really cool. I thought they did a good job of showing off a lot of new weapons. And the space combat didn't look awful. That was the weird thing about it, is I expected that the combat would look mid, and compared to the last showcase they had a year ago, I thought the combat looked fantastic. Even though the entire showcase was in 30 frames, it still looked pretty damn good. So all I'm hoping for is that that it's fun. That's kind of number one. And that the sandbox is fun. The NPCs are like they were before, but a little bit more interesting. They necessarily not even interesting. I have weird worries where like they showed off these 4 big main cities. I think there's 5. They haven't shown a 5th one. Can I go into town and just, open fire? Or is there going to be a guardrail where you go into town and the game disarms you? That would probably break my heart. and it will be modded out so quickly.
Yeah. Just like how they modded out the you can't kill kids in Fallout.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of the killable children mods. Those always, I don't know.
Pretty weird.
Granted, I play the part of awful parent quite a lot in my videos and streams, but I think it goes to a new level when you actually kill them. Like if you hit them with a big hammer, but they're only like knocked out and they ragdoll a little bit, that's different than like actually pulling up an execution move.
There's only 2 kids in Bethesda games that deserve to die. There's that little girl in Whiterun, And then there's the one kid who you can.
Oh, you gotta beat more children in Bethesda games. Your count would probably be higher.
And then there's the one boy who's a pain in the ass in New Vegas. Who you can riz the Helios 1 controller off of the ray gun.
yeah.
Reach for the sky, mister.
Yeah.
That kid?
Yeah,
He's not that bad. He's not that,
I don't know, something-
kill that kid.
I know, he seems
Literally
skeezy.
all the little lamplighters.
So anyways, child abuse aside,
You talk about child abuse. You know that kid from Disco Elysium?
Oh, yeah,
Kid needs a
Kuno.
punch in the throat.
You know.
Yeah,
Like right in the throat.
yeah, him and his weird friend.
That kid
also
almost got me to
repeat
just
shit.
drop Disco Elysium.
Yeah, he's pretty awful, and you got to deal with him quite a bit.
He's brutal.
but was there anything else with the Starfield Direct that caught your eye, that got you excited for the game, or gave you any sort of concerns or anxieties about it?
I'll not too much anxiety. You know, I mean, I my only hope is that, you know, kind of what we saw is pretty close to what we get. I kind of go in, I feel like I kind of know what to expect. You know, people are overcomplicating it a little bit. It's a Bethesda RPG. It's an FPS. You're going to shoot shit. There's going to be some really lame quests. There's going to be some hidden gems that you go, huh, that was actually pretty good. I do have fairly high hopes that the main narrative will be a bit more compelling than the last few that they've had. I really like the work of Will Shen, who is the lead quest designer, and he's basically in charge of the main story for this one. He was in charge of Far Harbor, the large expansion for Fallout 4 that was actually pretty good. Pretty
That one
fucking
was
good. Really
fucking
good.
great.
Really good, actually.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm really excited to cover it because I haven't played it in years. I've been waiting on it. I've been holding off on it, just trying to like let any memories of it escape my brain so I could kind of go in more fresh. But he did do a really good job with it. So I'm hopeful that it lands a little bit and that the factions are interesting. That's all stuff that just we won't know until we play it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I feel like people know what to expect. If you really didn't like Skyrim or Fallout 4, you're not gonna like this game.
Yeah.
Just like straight up. But I do kind of want to put my stake in the ground and make a little hot take here. That have you ever seen The Expanse? Have any of you ever seen the show The Expanse?
Oh yeah, damn good.
So I think that because at the end of the showcase they showed off this like actual force power, which is basically this game's version of Dragon Shouts, right? You're going to be finding alien technology. They've been kind of hush hush with a few secret things. I think that, like The Expanse, I think there's going to be a lot of comparisons between the main story of this game and The Expanse, where the entire point of the game is likely trying to find aliens, trying to find intelligent life or aliens or ancient artifacts. And then I can go even more bonkers with my theory. But in The Expanse, they find these, like, spoiler alerts for The Expanse, but they find these like alien ring gates that will shoot them off to a new like part of the galaxy or something.
Yeah, like the Mass Effect relay system.
Yes. I actually think that those are going to be found at some point in Starfield, probably as like a cliffhanger at the end of the main story, so they could, ram DLC into this game a year after it comes out. But I think it is going to confirm the theory that Starfield, Fallout, and the Elder Scrolls are all in the same universe, technically, or are all in the same. Like, there's been an ongoing theory that fans have ripped each other's throats out over, but I think that Starfield actually does have a way of giving some credence to it. They're like, oh my gosh, Fallout and Elder Scrolls are in the same universe. But that's it. That my hot take is that the storyline is The Expanse.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Let us know if you think Joov is correct in the comments down below. Do you guys want to go on to talk about
also
the PC?
watch The Expanse?
Yeah, it's super good. I was gonna say
it's super dope.
Yeah,
It might actually get you hyped for Starfield if you watch The Expanse. It might actually get you excited for Starfield if you're not.
Right. Like if you're right, that's good. It's a good thing. It's
Yes.
a very good thing.
Do you guys want to talk about the PC Gamer Show now?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I have no clue about anything that was shown, so you guys can run with it. I've talked more than enough.
So PC Gamer Show is typically one of my favorites, but this year is actually kind of on the boring side, unfortunately. Their gimmick this year was that Frankie had her likeness and voice taken to be used for some sort of deep fake AI. It was called Frank AI instead of Frankie, Frank AI. Ha 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 ha. The concept was not as well executed as Volvi, but points for trying. So a couple of the games that caught my eye, just for me, Road to Vostok. It's a hardcore survival FPS, which basically looks like a single player Escape from Tarkov. I
haven't seen that.
Yeah, I played the demo on Steam. It's pretty fun. I think it's definitely gonna be worth checking out if you are into games like that.
Have you played Tarkov?
I haven't personally. I've watched like Green play Tarkov on his stream and stuff like that. I've played Marauders.
I'm punching myself in the groin repeatedly.
Yeah.
With Tarkov.
You know, a weird thing, since there's some crossover conversation here, apparently, and I only saw like a few comments about this, so maybe it's wrong, but apparently like super overhauled and like ridiculously modded Fallout 4 has actually become a little bit of a Tarkov single player safe haven for some people, because a lot of them have been ditching the game because there's been a lot of issues with cheaters and latency and a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not super familiar. I haven't played Tarkov in a while, but there is definitely some demand for a hardcore Tarkov style first person shooter.
Yeah. And so I don't think we've gotten super into EFT's problems, because there is like a bunch of issues with cheating. There's some political issues. There's always been concerns about Battlestate Games, the developers. They've kind of had this cloud of scumminess surrounding them for some reason. So yeah, I imagine people want either a Tarkov alternative or some way to play Tarkov that isn't online. So I do think that this game will find an audience with those people. Green, what do you think? You're the Tarkov player here.
Well, I mean, that's putting it very broadly there. I play Tarkov every once in a while. But I can definitely see that. Like there's definitely some behind the scenes of Tarkov and in constant like random changes that they think is going to be good for the game, but ends up being more of a nuisance than anything. But yeah, Road to Vostok looked really good for a single player, FPS that like feels like Tarkov.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's Sailblaze. There's a sort of Animal Crossing meets Monster Hunter, where it looks like you like build a town and do some third-person combat to build your town with. Real quick, I do see a question here in the chat that I wanted to. Why does cheating matter? Does it affect anyone other than the conscience of the player? In Tarkov, it does, because Tarkov is a hardcore game where upon death you lose gear.
Big time.
Yeah,
big time.
So yeah, if you have gear and then someone cheats and kills you and just kind of walks off with your stuff, that is a pretty big deal.
Well, then you have to reset your character, reload out your character. You have to sit in queue to get into another match again. It just completely, ruins the game.
It's twofold, especially when it comes to Tarkov. One, it's bad sportsmanship, of course, because you're cheating. You should try to get better at the game instead of using something to get better at the game. And two, it's such a waste of time for the other players.
Yeah.
Why would I go play a game that it took me 10 minutes to load into the match. I've been looting and fighting my way through 20 minutes of this match. All of a sudden to die from someone who just could shoot through a wall from 100 meters away and get a headshot, head eyes.
Why would I waste any time? Why would I waste any time getting better?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
I'd
Rust is having the same exact issues too, constantly.
Yeah. Like if there's a game that there's a blatantly large amount of cheaters, I'm not going to play the game simply because like it is going to be a waste of time, especially for Tarkov. There's no point in playing.
Yeah. So yeah, that just to answer that question quick. But then yeah, Sailblazers, that one kind of seemed like something Mendacii might have been into. Did you see that one at all, Mendacii?
Yeah, man, as soon as something crosses more into like Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley, which this is the kind of stuff that would get me crucified for saying, I lose all interest. I want either Animal Crossing or I want Monster Hunter. It's like I love peanut butter, man. And I love jelly. I don't always want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So it really does come down to that. But it's interesting. And for people that like Stardew, this looked like it was a game that was a lot better optimized than something like My Time in Portia and other games that we have been seeing in that sort of kind of a mixed genre lately.
Oh, this game has guns.
Yeah, dude.
Whoa, hold on. I might like this. Okay, so you're like building stuff, you sell shit, you make money, and you shoot shit.
Yeah. Yep.
That's like my gameplay loop.
There you go. There you go.
That is, you farm, blow shit up, and yeah, that's. I'm sorry that's not for you because that just.
I'm just excited that it's for you.
It fires off so many dopamine receptors in the back of my brain. It's like looks like one of those NASA panels where all the lights are blinking constantly.
The other game that did catch my attention from the PC Gamer Show was called Ferocious. It looks like a survival horror game, kind of a la The Forest, but with dinos.
That's cool. I like that.
That was the impression I got. It was some sort of survival horror game where you're like alone in the woods and there's dinos everywhere, like some sort of Jurassic Park if it was real.
I hope this game. I hope this game does exactly what you expect it to do, and I've never played Green Hell, but just from some of the screenshots, this kind of looks like Green Hell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like some Turok vibe there as well. But like saying
I like Turok.
Yeah, like saying the forest with dinosaurs, I think is like the best contemporary way to put it, because I really do think that there's going to be like Compsognathus and like raptors and so on and so forth, just pouncing your ass while you're trying to, hang out and do things out in the field. That sounds awesome and terrifying, and I want to have a shotgun and fight a raptor. That is my childhood, dude. Bring me back to Turok 1 and 2.
Yeah. So those are the big ones that I saw that kind of caught my eye. Mendacii, was there anything from PC Gamer Show that caught your eye?
No, I was more like I was over the moon with like the Bethesda showcase, and then Nintendo was okay, and Future Game Show was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
This was definitely the most boring one.
Yeah. Before we move on to Future Game Show, because we do have that today, Green, did you have anything from PC Gamer Show that you wanted to talk about?
I think the ones that really stood out were Road to Vostok. A lot of people were really excited for Path of Exile 2. And one that caught my eye, and then I actually missed the Steam Next Fest demo of it, was Warhaven. Warhaven looked pretty fun. It gave off like almost like For Honor vibes.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely excited to see how that comes out.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's move on to Future Game Show. By the way, Warhaven got a couple different trailers across different things. They were really putting it out there this year, including in the Future Game Show, which this year was actually done better than previous years. I was really surprised.
Mm-hmm. I've never heard of it. Future Games Show. What day is it usually on?
It's like smack in the middle of everything usually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's done by Games Radar, the website Games Radar, and they typically get voice actors to host the show. Like one year they had the voice of Geralt of Rivia in there. They had someone else, I can't remember, but this year it was hosted by Yuri Lowenthal and Laura Bailey.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
they did have Yuri.
Yeah, and so Yuri, he's done a couple really notable stuff. He's like the voice of Sasuke in Naruto and Shippuden.
He's like half of the male voices in New Vegas by the time you get to the strip. He's who won the lottery? I did. You know, he's that guy.
That guy.
Yeah.
And I know this is a total sidebar, but I just recently started playing. I didn't get super far into it, but I played quite a bit of Persona 4.
Oh yeah.
And he is oh gosh, what's his character's
I call him Broske.
Broske? Yosuke?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's Yosuke,
bro.
and it was so funny to hear his voice, this voice that I have heard recording for videos and just playing these games in general so many times, to hear him unironically say, Saki senpai, we have to go save her. What are we gonna do?
Did you ever run into Teddy in Persona 4?
Is Teddy the guy underground?
He's like literally a teddy bear in like a red costume.
So. Yeah, I think so.
That's Sam Riegel.
Who's that?
That like just like another really prominent voice actor, and he's also on like Critical Role and all that shit. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I do recognize him now seeing his face.
Yeah.
It's so trippy. So I don't want to get us too off track, but that's why when I saw the Spider-Man trailer, I played quite a bit of Marvel Spider-Man when it came over to PC, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. But when I'm watching that trailer, Yuri's edgy black suit Spider-Man voice, they got sharp teeth. So do I. It was so like cringy anime to me. It sounded like his anime dub voice, but in Spider-Man, and I couldn't take it seriously. I thought it was awful.
Yeah, nail on the head, man.
I'm so sorry to anybody who thought it was really, really like cool. Yeah, that's the thing. It wasn't cool. Black Suit Spider-Man, in my non-Marvel fan opinion, should be really fucking cool. And he's never cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
No, you're good. So that's who hosted it, and it was actually like a really good show. I have criticized the show in the past for like being wooden and stiff, and it was still kind of wooden and stiff, but it was much better this last year because they actually had Laura Bailey and Yuri together, like in a room, actually playing off each other and not in a VoIP call. Still very scripted, but it was actually a very well done show this year. Some of the things that caught my eye, or unless someone else wants to go first, I have two games that I can talk about.
Go ahead.
Deceit 2 got shown off. And as someone who played the first Deceit, it looks fun, it looks interesting. I'm hoping they can really properly continue Deceit and like make advances on that, advancements in the gameplay and you know, really get a player base. But I'm also really hoping the community doesn't turn fucking toxic like it did last time.
It's social deduction. It's a social deduction game, which shout out to whoever came up with that genre name right after Among Us came out, because social deduction it's perfect. It's like the perfect genre name.
Yeah. Deceit came out a couple years before Among Us. Its whole premise was that you and 5 other players are in a like mansion or whatever, and you have to figure out who the two monsters are. Monsters have to secretly drink blood in order to be able to transform and kill the other players and stuff like that. I just had a lot of problems. The community was super small. As a streamer, we had issues where people would come in and just cheat. We had issues where people would use slurs and just talk over VoIP.
They're cheating?
Yeah.
In this game?
Yeah.
Never understand that. Somebody asked earlier about cheating. Just don't
in any PvP game.
Don't cheat in games because you're a douchebag.
Yeah.
If there is a player versus player game, there is always going to be a cheat for it. And it's
but
because
losing
people
feels
are
bad.
children.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm hoping the community doesn't kill Deceit 2. Deceit 1 was good. that's all I'm going to say about that. The other game that that caught my eye is going to be a little out of left field for me, but it's called Moving Out 2. It's a cross-play game where you and your friends are basically running like a moving company, and it looks like a good frustration builder for you and your friends while you yell at each other about how to move boxes and stack boxes and shit. It looks
My
like
mom would love it.
Yeah, like Overcooked, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what caught my eye with the Future Games Show. Green, do you have anything on Future Games Show?
Oh, I do. You know what looks really fun to me for absolutely no reason at all? Star Trucker.
Oh hell yeah, dude.
Because I want to be a space trucker more than anything ever. Like if I'm playing Star Citizen, most of the time I'm a space trucker.
May
And
I
I'm
introduce you to a Starfield build that will break the economy? Because it won't take long for us to figure it out.
Yep. Just build a giant space semi, bro.
Yeah. And then another one that I saw was the Bookwalker.
That's actually out right now.
Yeah, it gives off a lot of
Ooh, Space Trucker does look cool.
Disco Elysium vibes.
Yeah.
And it is
A lot of people been saying disco. It's got
What's
that
this
look.
one called?
It's called the Bookwalker Thief of Tales, and it is actually on Bookwalker.
Oh, got it. Bookwalker. Got it.
It is on Game Pass. As Mendacii said, it is out now. So if you have Game Pass, you can actually scoop that up for free and play it.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Definitely like that Disco Elysium, my God, isometric. Yeah, I was like isotopic, and I was like, what the fuck? Anyway, so isometric view, and like very dark and moody with very very nice art visuals and stuff, and like a really interesting world and concept. I haven't like dove into it yet, but I definitely plan to in the future.
Yeah, it definitely looked like something that would pique your interest. And I know like Rev would be big into stuff like that. So people like that really like that style of gameplay. So
Yeah.
Looks like it's got pretty positive reviews on Steam so far.
It's a neat little game. Bookhead. You got pages for face.
Got pages for face.
You can quote me on that.
I will.
I meant to bring this up earlier, but you guys were kind of on a roll. We've talked about cheaters a little bit on this, and
yeah,
I want to sort of see if we can get a consensus on this. If you guys had a good friend of yours that you play video games with every now and then, you are close friends. You know, you're not coworkers. You are close friends. You've been friends for a while, and you found out that they, as a part of their hobby, love to just go in and aimbot and cheat and hack and like they go into Tarkov and they just destroy lobbies. Would you lose respect for that person?
Yes.
I've actually had that essential same thing happen. It was just with Call of Duty Warzone.
Okay.
I found out that a friend of mine that I played with, he was using cheats, and I said some rather unsavory words to them.
Yeah.
Are you still friends?
I mean, we're still friends. I just like, I make sure to reiterate that, like, if they're playing games with me, which they don't very often, but like, if they're playing games with me, they're not using cheats.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, no. You confront that shit head on, and you call them out, and you're like, "What's wrong, little baby bitch?" And you just make fun of them until they stop. You know, if you're close friends with them, you can just call them out on it. Make it demeaning to use cheats. Be like, "Oh, what's wrong? You can't get better." But yeah, just
I feel bad, Green.
bad.
I didn't mean to broach any
no,
friendship breakups. They're always tough.
I wouldn't really necessarily say it was like a breakup. It's just like, if you're friends with someone and you guys are actual friends, it's you should be able to tell them when you're disappointed in them.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, like I'm not mad. They never cheated when they were playing with me, but like I'm just disappointed because like I get being frustrated when there's a game full of cheaters and you just want to play the game. But like stooping down to the same level as them doesn't fix anything. It just, makes one more
exacerbates the issue.
Yeah. there was a YouTuber back in the day, like Burnside, I think, who used to go into like COD lobbies. I'm talking like 10 years ago. 10, 12 years ago, where he would go into lobbies, and if he found a cheater, he would just like flip the switch on his scuffed controller or whatever, and like, you know, where anytime he fired, it just made him crouch or whatever, and just like would record himself basically cheating, but cheating against cheaters. And I'm like, that still doesn't like make it better that you're using like a scuffed controller or whatever. Yeah.
It's the old classic eye for an eye makes the whole world blind, you know? Like,
Yeah.
And no one has
Anyway.
fun.
Again, apologies. I keep getting us way off track.
No, you're good. You are
That's where the
good.
fun is.
Yeah.
it makes my ADHD brain go zoom zoom.
It was still more entertaining than the PC Gamers show
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
that I did not watch, and I'm not really at liberty to make fun of. But I have been pretty quick Googling whichever games you guys bring up just so I can get a glimpse.
Yeah. Yeah. Mendacii, how about you? Anything from Future Game Show that we haven't talked about yet?
This was the meatiest one, so I'm going to touch base on the ones that were really interesting and talk about my time being able to play a demo for one of the games that showed up here.
Yeah.
So for the sake of brevity, Instinction, because more dinosaurs, dude. This is fucking dinosaurs and guns. Hell yeah.
You know,
Oh my gosh, this is
The dinosaur.
you
a
know,
new zombie game.
well, I was gonna say, like a couple years ago, you know, we got like Chernobyl Light and like Stalker and a couple other of like those. You were in Ukraine or Russia or somewhere else in the Eastern Bloc, and there's been a nuclear disaster.
What? Whoa.
Yeah, like,
Atomic Heart.
yeah,
Yep.
True.
yeah. It's like so that Dinos was that this year, where we got like 5 or 6 games, like all surrounding that like idea.
It
Yeah,
does seem like it's like
exactly.
a current thing. It's like a loop. It goes post-apocalyptic, zombie, dinosaurs.
Sci-fi.
Rinse, repeat.
Yeah, dude. Exoprimal comes out next month, and that was pretty fucking fun. And they released a ton of gameplay on that. That was really awesome to see during this whole showcase biz. But from the Future Game Show, I thought it was really interesting seeing something like Enchanted Portals, which literally looks like someone just copied the homework of Cuphead. And it comes from Shisho, or maybe even Zizo Games. They're in Spain, and it's the only thing they've ever developed. But if you go and look up screenshots, you're like, yeah, that's literally
That's Cuphead.
that's
Yeah.
Cuphead, dude. And you look at what they're going to use for the game art for like the actual like Steam page or Xbox Game Pass, and it straight up looks like they lifted and then just kind of copied the style of it. Who knows what that's going to end up looking like? I'm not a huge Layers of Fear game fan, but like Layers of Fear, sure. I'm not a big. I have almost no love for Bloober Team at all. Space Gears, I like giant robots. Armored Core 6 is going to be coming out here pretty soon, but I could always use more giant robots. And then the game that I actually got to play was On Guard. And I've talked to the team, like as far as like the PR team on Twitter, and dude, this game fucking rules. It is beautiful. It is super well done, super well made. And on top of that, it's just like a whole. I think the studio was like 4 or 5 friends or something like that met in video game design college, and they're like, let's make a studio. And then to have this be your first game, and it is some of the best swordplay combat that I have touched in a very long time. People will say like, oh, kind of like Dark Souls, because there's a parry and there's a dodge and you have a sword. But no, like the gameplay is awesome. I couldn't get enough of the combat. The demo is available right now on Steam, and it's like an hour and a half long, dude. You have an interactable environment. You can stun enemies by like kicking boxes at them, or like kicking a whole table at them while they're jumping over it, and they will face plant. There's things to throw on their head, or like, dude, there's so much that you can do in this. And after you beat it, go and play the combat arena, where you go through waves of enemies and you can play with more of the interactable objects. There's phenomenal voice acting, and your character doesn't kill anyone. It's definitely like a rated T for teen game because like the bodies stay there, and if you go up to them after you've beat them, they'll be like, "I should have stayed at home." Like they're just like they say like these goofy, lighthearted comments, and it's just really nice to have a game that isn't like I'm gonna take this super serious. It's
Yeah.
just fun as hell, and traversing the world is also really really nice too.
This does look really fun. And
I highly recommend it.
you know those scenes in action movies where they'll be running through like the village marketplace and they're getting chased by guys and they're like grabbing a fruit and throwing at the guys as they chase them, or like grab a plate and bonk them on some Indiana Jones type shit. This
Yeah,
when I
dude.
watch this, I go, I hope this is what the Machine Games slash
Indiana
Bethesda
Jones.
Indiana Jones game kind of ends up being combat wise, because this does look really fun.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like it's their first game, and yet playing this sword combat, I was like, how does this small no name team just absolutely fucking nail it like on day zero? This is wild. But yeah, go check out the demo. If what I said has intrigued you enough, I think you'll love it. I think you will. But I think that's it as far as what I had for a future game show. Yeah, I'm gonna call it there.
Okay. I don't think I have anything else for future game show. Do we want to go on to the Nintendo Direct?
Are they killing? Are they killing dolphins still?
Oh, no.
You know, probably. Probably. So yeah, Nintendo Direct. You can't really review a Nintendo Direct show because they're all exactly the fucking same. They don't do anything different, and they're all pretty boring in itself. You
Yeah.
really go there to see, well, you know, a couple years ago,
It's the trifecta:
yeah,
Pokemon, Mario, and Sonic. That's what you get.
Zelda.
Oh yes, yeah, Zelda too. I mean, every other year though.
Yeah. Or every other year when everyone's like, "Show me Zelda," and then they don't for 3 years, and everyone's crying and pissing at home.
Yeah.
But Wind Waker.
Yeah.
So Wind Waker though.
When's Tears of the Kingdom 2 coming out? Can we hurry up?
Yeah, it was. We need it next week. So real quick, anyone who might have been confused by our offhanded comments about Nintendo killing dolphins, go check out our episode with Chris Pichet. We talked all about Nintendo taking legal action against the dolphin emulator. So go check that out. That was. That was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Nintendo's not actually out there slaying dolphins.
We don't know that for a fact.
Oh, I mean, you know, it's neither here nor there. We can't say that they're doing it because like that could cause some legal issues.
We can neither confirm nor deny that Nintendo is a part of dolphin killing, other than the dolphin emulator.
Right. But morally, it's pretty much the same.
Yo,
That's not me being hyperbolic.
Yo, motherfuckers, what Mario, man? You just fucking take that Mario, man.
Yeah.
Wait, Mario. Stuffs Mario down your throat. Fucking Mario.
I actually liked Mario in my throat this Nintendo Direct, along with Wario. Come on, dude. Bruh.
So did
Having Wario show up was just wild.
Yeah, did you really like the Super Mario RPG trailer? You know,
Dude, fuck
some
yeah.
people are actually
I
excited
haven't
for that.
seen. Yeah. Like we rented it from a now derelict video game and movie rental store in like small town Midwest. Yeah, that place is dead as hell. But yeah, we
R.I.P.
rented
movie
Super
gallery?
Mario RPG. Actually, Video Corner.
Oh, it turned into a pizza shop for like.
Movie
Like,
gallery did
a
for
month?
yeah, Video Corner was
Yeah, I remember. I know exactly what
It
you're talking
just-
about, man.
always smelt like kettle corn, and there was always too many copies of Child's Play ready for rent. And it's just renting Echo the Dolphin or Jurassic
Mhm.
Park over and over again.
And then if you
So-
got too close to the back, you could smell the cigarette smoke.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
emanating from the back room.
Super good. But yeah, so like that was the last time that I saw anything about Super Mario RPG, the fact that they just came out of left field in the year of our Lord 2023 and was like, "Hey man, you want some Super Mario RPG?" Like, yeah, no, don't worry. People have just been screaming about this for like 20 years.
Literally 25 years.
Yeah,
It came
25
out
years.
25 years ago.
Oh,
So,
okay.
like,
So at least I was generally close. Yeah, like that looked great. I've never been much of a Pikmin fan, but like cool that they're continuing an IP instead of just being like, here's some shit and you got some Mario Kart DLC, and I don't know if anyone still plays that. Things just come out so slowly for it, and Luigi's Mansion looked fine. Vampire Survivors coming to the Switch is something that I thought would have happened a lot sooner, but it's cool that they're also getting co-op for it. And then yeah, there was some strange stuff though, like Metal Gear. The whole Metal Gear announcement was very strange to me, but this is
the
like, I
Arkham
mean,
trilogy.
sure. Yeah, oh yeah, the Arkham
Like,
trilogy
who
for this.
expects the Arkham trilogy to go on the Switch? And like,
That's-
especially
It's the
Arkham
Inquisition.
City. Or no, Arkham Knight. Arkham Knight was the most like GPU intensive. I don't know how well it's
Are
going to
those
work on
running?
Nintendo.
Are those on the Switch now,
Yeah.
or were they announced?
They're announced that you're coming in fall of 2023.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the cheapest way to play Gloomhaven with your friends, you can now say we've got Gloomhaven at home coming to Switch is also really good. Gloomhaven, for those that don't know, is like a $150, $200 tabletop role-playing game that is like a 30-pound box full of shit that you have to have a giant fish and tackle box to sort out and then play with your friends. And yeah, it's pretty insane. So the fact that you're able to just play that 4-player at home on a Switch is fine. I don't remember if it was actually co-op when it was on Steam, but it looks like the Switch version also has the DLC. So yeah, it's a lot better because now you don't have to worry about missing pieces or painting all the miniatures that come in the box. Two thumbs up.
Some people like the painting. I had a bunch of old coworkers who that was my first lesson in life that, oh, people older than you like cool nerdy shit and you can learn about it from them. Because I was like this just out of college frat douche who had no like understanding of the world or like, you know, people outside of the demographic I was usually hanging around, where I was like, wait, you like to paint? Hold on. I was like, tell me all about it. I want to know, like, how's your tabletop at home coming along, all that. Never played a tabletop though.
Never played a tabletop game.
I wish I had something.
You've never?
I wish I had something that I've painted like right near me right now, because that's my quiet time.
Let me ask you a question, Joov.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Never seen it.
Oh,
So seen episodes very sparingly when I was younger.
okay,
And that's
fair,
just because
fair,
I had a friend a couple doors down whose older brother was super into it. So it would be on the TV, or I watched maybe a couple of episodes. I remember the big thing, the big furry guy, he would always be like, yep, when he wanted to call him.
Top, yeah. I was saying that because there's a tabletop version of that now,
Oh,
an RPG.
Yeah.
No.
there's a Skyrim RPG tabletop.
There's
If it
Fallout
exists, there's an RPG game of it.
Oh, it's like Rule 34.
It's just the way it
but
works.
Yeah.
It's the way it works.
Yeah.
Overwatch tabletop.
Oh, that's real.
There's a Fallout tabletop too,
There's
And Bloodborne.
and Bloodborne.
like
yeah.
5 different Star Wars ones.
Yeah. Yeah, was there anything else with the Nintendo Direct that you guys like were interested in or caught your eye?
The only thing that I had is like, correct me if I'm wrong, but is this the first like Pokemon DLC
No.
ever,
They,
like expansion?
no, they had one for Sword and Shield.
Okay, so this is like, but it's still relatively new because like Pokemon usually has never done that until like it's made its way on like Switch, right?
Yeah, typically. Yeah, no, actual DLC has not been available for any mainstream Pokemon game until the Switch. And that was because you're buying cartridges. They had different kinds of DLC that you could access through some weird ways and like events. So, but if you were someone who like didn't have a Toys R Us near you, you couldn't go to those events and get like usually it was just like
Scan a QR code,
or they always had a like a version of a Pokemon game that had the event Pokemon on it. So like a Toys R Us employee would like trade it to you or something like that. So yeah, the Pokemon never really had DLC until the Switch.
It did look pretty interesting. I did have to say, it, like as someone who's played the game, like I haven't completely finished it. My Switch has been sitting here dead for probably like 2 months now.
That's so rude.
I know. It's
Not
horrible.
me booting up Hades now.
I had a general complaint about all of these shows that I'm actually kind of tired of this trend happening. Or like I kept making this joke throughout the entire Summer Game Fest. One of my friends was streaming it and reacting to it, but they should have just called it the Summer Live Service Updates Fest. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I don't fucking care that Halo Infinite is having season 4 or Battlefield 2042 is having its season 5 update. Get your battle pass now, kids. I don't care. I don't care that Sea of Thieves is getting a new content update. You could literally just plaster that all over the front page of everyone who opens up their Xbox over the next several months. And that would be all the marketing that they need for like, oh, hey, there's a new update. Either I'm going to play this game or I'm not.
Yeah.
I hate that these dedicated shows where like we want to see, give Fable another minute. Yeah, I want to let a developer talk about Fable. I mean, we saw, and I didn't mention this earlier, but that was my favorite part of the entire Starfield showcase was that we finally stopped doing it's the Todd Howard show, and Todd Howard's talking on the thing, and it's all about Todd and the jacket, and he's Mr. Because, like, yes, Todd Howard is very important. Right? He's probably the most important person at Bethesda Game Studios, but he's not the only person who makes those games. And it was cool hearing from so many other people and the stuff that they liked and that they were excited about. But like all these other games, none of them got that.
Yeah.
Like not a single game had another developer. I mean, I would love for Kojima's next game to hear from the other developers instead of it just being the Kojima show. But anyway, that aside, I just don't care about these live service updates. I would rather for these shows the time was taken to just focus on the bigger stuff and doing some of that stuff, like having another developer or two be a part of the show to talk about a thing that they like in the game. Like, what do you like about Senua's Saga? What do you like about Hellblade 2?
Yeah.
Other than the wrinkles in her cheeks every time she takes damage or something. I'm pretty burnt out on live service and battle pass and that stuff.
Yeah,
dude.
I think one of the things, and we talked about this before, but it really feels like since E3 has died, the people who have like tried to fill that vacuum, this is like the first year where it feels like everything was more of a drag. Like it was overall pretty good this year because they are still adjusting to a new format, and it's a much more concise format, which I almost miss the messiness and the waiting
marathon, dude.
The sound going out, or what was the one time they had the band on stage playing Kinect instruments? I mean, that's brilliant.
Oh God,
that's brilliant. We're never gonna get those moments anymore. They're going to make Kinect look cool next time. We don't want that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because this is kind of...
Did you miss E3 bingo?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think this year I felt a lot of stuff was kind of a drag. I appreciate that you found more joy in it than I did. But anything else from like the last week of gaming and news or announcements that we wanted to talk about? Anything we wanted to cover? Otherwise, we can wrap up the show.
Man, I think that's it. There was some good nuggets in here, but I mean, kind of like last year, there's just like a lot of stuff that just wanted to get out in front of people. It feels
Ooh.
like, and it just didn't really feel like it gelled.
Yeah.
Consider me also hyped for Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty.
Oh yeah.
Why?
Cyberpunk the way it was
people-
supposed to be.
A lot of
Even
people
though,
are feeling a type of way though about that.
although I will say, my biggest complaint with Cyberpunk, and this is probably no surprise, is that when it comes to the open world, outside of side quests, outside of gigs, and outside of main quests, the open world itself and like the NPCs, if they were like Bethesda NPCs and you could, kill them and take their stuff and like do the typical sort of Bethesda things with those NPCs, it would have been probably one of my favorite games ever made.
Yeah.
But I am still excited for the next one because the story was awesome, the characters were sick, and the combat, it was hit or miss for me, but mostly hit. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Real quick, what did you do for a build?
I'm trying to think of the most recent Cyberpunk because I did play through it almost twice. I was really enjoying the last time I played it, doing like those like a combination of where like you get those mantis hands.
Oh
and you
yeah,
can go crazy with those. Those are pretty fun. And I was like doing a combination between that and really heavy. And I didn't enjoy this one as much. I was really heavy into what's the cyberware where you can just like hack into things and like it like slows down time. You can hack into enemies. You can
Okay,
hit them with
yeah.
flares. Maybe I'm wrong because now that I think about it, I was kind of enjoying running up to a fight, slowing down time a little bit, and tagging some enemies. Like hit this one with confusion, set this guy on fire,
doing all the Sandevistan things.
Yeah, that was fun. Did they put the Sandevistan into the game?
There is Sandevistan, but it until you get really far into that game, your slowdown is going to be like you run and then you do a slide, and then everyone will be slow for a little bit, so it kind of like mimics Sandevistan for you. But
Okay,
yeah,
did they add that in after the show?
I'm assuming because
Okay.
that's what I have on my character right now, which I didn't even start playing Cyberpunk until after Edge Runner came out.
Good. No,
Yeah.
honestly,
Playing it.
like that is the good thing about or I mean, I guess that's like the good and bad thing about these games is like, if you're somebody who can wait
Mm-hmm.
in 12 months, you will be playing the best version of Starfield. If you can
Yep.
wait until Phantom Liberty, you will be playing the best version of Cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah, that's certainly not ideal.
Yeah.
We would love for everything to come out and just right away be Elden Ring and have very little complaints, but I just love a big giant open world where things can go so fucking wrong.
Yeah.
There's just something I love about it.
Mhm.
There's something I love about here you go, hop in the sandbox, see what happens. If it breaks, whatever.
Start kicking the sand, man. Just start kicking it out and see what happens.
Yeah. Anything else?
Oh,
I'm
Dragon's Dogma 2. Never played the
Oh,
first.
yeah.
Super fucking excited to eventually play it. And the second one, they just added Khajiit into the game because why not? Like,
Yeah, fuck it.
Don't watch the anime.
Dragon's Dogma has an anime?
Yes, it's on
It's
Netflix.
like a
Do not watch it.
CGI anime. Yeah.
What?
Do not watch it. Do not watch it. Do not watch it. Look it up right now.
Adding it
up
to my
right now.
list.
As
it's
someone
on my
who
watch
played
list.
the first one and then watched the anime, it literally is just like a very shortened version of the game in a really messy CGI fashion, which just isn't great, honestly.
Wow.
I just got
it's-
into anime and I'm looking at this. This just looks like anime. This is CGI.
Yeah,
There's a lot of CGI in it.
There's a lot
that's-
of
yeah. Okay, now I see it. Yep.
it's
Yep.
not
Yep.
good.
The dragon, super CGI.
Yeah, anything that would be difficult to do by hand, they're like computer.
Yeah, it's not good. He's not good. Let's go ahead and wrap up the show before we give Joov more ideas on how he can be disappointed in TV. Joov, thank you for coming on the show, dude. You are always a blast to have on.
Oh, it's always fun. I like bullshitting.
Yeah.
And plus, you guys were the first podcast to ever reach out and be like, "Hey, want to be on a podcast?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And it was like a month after YouTube actually kind of became like a thing for me, where I was having that realization of like, "Oh shit." I remember like messaging a few of my friends who had also been doing YouTube as a job for a little bit. Then we're like all freaking like, "Oh my god, it's happening! It's happening!"
Yeah.
It was actually that meme. So it was super cool that somebody like found my videos and was like, "Hey, want to come on a podcast? We'd love to have you." And I was like, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? What do I have to lose?" And you guys have been always each time super accommodating and really respectful, and you know, we're just what did we talk about the first time? I'm trying to remember. Was it no, it wasn't.
It was about modding Skyrim and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah, because you were doing.
'cause-
I found you on TikTok doing like Skyrim mods and challenges, and then I think you were like that was when you transitioned from TikTok to YouTube.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep. And we'll always be here to ride your coattails. We love seeing rising stars and
Oh gosh. Unfortunately, I'm not the kind of creator that has coattails to be ridden. Maybe one day, but
I think our biggest thing was we really wanted to have an episode where it was about modding games,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
because we do a
Yep.
lot of like reviews and like reviews on games and equipment.
we're
but
going to be able to talk about some really fucking cool stuff in the next few years. I posted about this on Twitter a few weeks ago, maybe a month or two ago, but the Bethesda modding community is not even close to peaking. I think that 2025 is probably going to the year. Probably going to be the year where a lot of people who have maybe even never been interested in these games start to see what the fans are doing and kind of sit back like, holy shit. Because we have, I mean, just counting them, we have Fallout London.
That's on my list.
Fallout London is a fan project that's being put together by a massive team. And I think Bethesda Game Studios has poached 3 of that team's developers and just hired them outright. So I assume that they have seen the project and probably they've probably gotten work. And it's just awesome to see that like you do this hobby or just play these games that you love. And it's just very encouraging as somebody who's a big fan of these games to know that like, okay, yes, corporate demons and suits and ghouls that kind of run this from behind closed doors with shitty deals, all at like ZeniMax and whatnot, or Bethesda Publishing. It's good to know that at least at some level of the organization, there are people in tune enough with the community and the fans to know there are super creative people out there that know these game engines, that love these worlds. So there's Fallout London. Don't know exactly when that's coming out. Sky Oblivion is currently slated for 2025, but they can have as much time as they would like to. That is a complete port of Oblivion into Skyrim's engine with updated visuals, and obviously the combat carries over from Skyrim into that. It looks like they've also started working on getting some of the features that are in Oblivion that are not in Skyrim put in for there. There's several fan projects. You could even look this one up. This one is fully released now. It takes the Point Lookout DLC from Fallout 3 and just completely ports it into Fallout 4. I've played it. It looks incredible because I had just finished doing a video on the Point Lookout DLC in Fallout 3, which is from 2009, I believe is when the DLC came out, or 2010. But then going to play it in Fallout 4's engine, it's a looker, which is it's weird because people don't look at Fallout 4 and think about it visually, really, but there are some instances where I'm like, God damn, this. Maybe it's because I play too much Skyrim or Oblivion or whatever. But a lot of times when I play, I'm like, this looks really good. That same team is doing a port of. I'm trying to think. There's two projects. There's Project Mojave, which is taking, I think, the map of New Vegas.
Yeah.
And the way it works in Fallout 4 will be your character took a teleport and landed in New Vegas. So it's non-canon and it is attached to the timeline of Fallout 4. But then there's also Fallout 4 New Vegas, which is supposed to be a full port of New Vegas into Fallout 4's engine. And the Project Mojave mod can be played right now. And it is breathtaking to walk through some of the portions of the map in new lighting, in new detail. Those are the 4 main projects that I know of right now. There are some other projects that are happening with New Vegas. Fallout Miami, I believe, is one of them. Fallout Nuevo Mexico, I think it's called. I'm not 100% sure on that one. And then aside from all that, Starfield will come out. The creation kit will eventually come out at some point, although we haven't heard anything about the creation kit, so knock on wood that the creation kit is given out to people. And I mean, you got a lot of planets, you got a lot of places to put shit if you're a modder, and it's going to be really, really cool. So that is my take. 2025 is the year of the modder, and it's very exciting.
You heard it here first, folks. Joov. I'm sorry, not Jude. Joov.
Hey, Jude.
Hey, Jude. Hey, Joov. For those who maybe missed the top of the show, haven't had a chance to meet you yet, where can people find you?
YouTube and Twitch under the name Joov. 1 syllable. Nice and easy.
Yes. Link will be in the description of this episode, so make sure you go check that out. Green Elite, what's coming up with you?
Well, there is a little event happening tomorrow, which I'm super excited for. It's for Hunt Showdown. Shocker, we're talking about Hunt Showdown on
Sick game.
on Next to Nothing. It's a very fun game. But yeah, the event Tide of Shadows.
I think so, yeah.
And update 1.13 is
Yep.
coming tomorrow.
Yep.
So we're getting both that event and that update, which is gonna be super fun. I'm probably gonna be streaming it for a good portion of tomorrow. And then my fiance flies to Seattle this weekend. So pretty much all this weekend is gonna be Hunt Showdown. I predict the events will be done for me by Monday morning. That's just how I work with Hunt Showdown events, but yeah, you can catch all that twitch.tv/Mr. Greenley. And I'm also on everything else: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, OnlyFans, Feet Finder, Mr. Greenley.
One of my friends just mentioned Feet Finder the other day.
I have actually been looking into it. I'm like, money is money. I might, sell some feet. I don't know. It's off brand.
Yeah, so if you do, you're off the show. That's just, that's how that's gonna be.
Principal.
Mendacii.
Oh, you gotta
You're gonna have
let
someone
those little piggies fly.
You're gonna judge me for selling pictures of these grippers, dude? Like, come on now. That's rude.
These grippers.
Mendacii, what do you got going on?
Well, I leave for West Virginia for the holiday here on a Thursday, but there's a couple games that I'll probably be checking out that I'll be able to talk about in the near future. I'll be playing through the demo of another game I didn't get a chance to talk about that I sadly forgot about from Future Game Show. The demo for Stray Gods, which is a really interesting narrative RPG, like with like it's like a musical. But
I saw that too.
yeah, it's very interesting. Some really, really great voice actor names are attached to the project. So I was interested enough to download the demo. I'll be checking that out. And then there's this very strange, looks like a side-scrolling character action game where you play as a rabbit with a giant robot fist, which is kind of my whole shtick. I just love punching shit. So the game is Fist Forged in Shadow Torch. So I'll be checking that out as well. If that sounds like something that's up your alley, that's also free on Game Pass. As far as streaming goes, I'll probably have to wait until after this current school term is over because your boy need to focus on him education.
Yeah.
Gotta get that
what are you
degree.
majoring in?
Behavioral sciences and communication, double major.
Wow, congratulations. Well, when
Hey,
you
thanks.
graduate, congratulations.
Yeah,
You're not there
it's
yet.
it's not even a migraine. It's a slightly less worded migraine. wanna
Easiest way for
sleep.
me to get sidetracked on stream is when someone says that they graduated or they're close to graduation, because that's always sick and should be celebrated. Get your get educated.
Get educated.
It's important.
Read
It's
books.
good. Your cats will love you more.
Coming up for me, I am deep in the throes of editing. More Con is coming up this weekend. I am getting it done by the skin of my teeth. So we're getting more of that done, and hopefully more Con soon. My life is about to be chaos, so hopefully, fingers crossed. Otherwise, you guys can check me out whenever I'm playing with Green, because I don't really stream much anymore. And then also you can shit post with me on Twitter if Twitter, is working, at Danny K, DANIECAE. And I think that's the whole show this week. So thanks for watching and listening. Your time and attention is always appreciated. If you have made it this far, be sure to drop us a like and subscribe on YouTube. That really does help us out quite a bit. And of course, if you missed any part of the show, you can check us out over there on YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, everywhere podcasts are found. Until next week, stay safe, stay healthy, keep fighting the good fights, and we'll see you again next week. Goodbye.